Magandang araw. This is our video discussion of BAM 241, Business Laws and Regulations, Module number 1. And our lesson title is Law on Partnership. Our lesson objectives are as follows. At the end of this module, you should be able to, number 1, define and describe partnership. Number 2, identify who may become partners in a partnership. And number 3, determine whether a partnership exists. Our productivity tip for today: to increase concentration and memory, it is advised to play music for studying while working on this module. Relax and start reading the module content and take note of the relevant information. I would like also to suggest that if you encounter new terminologies, then you should find the meaning of those terminologies for better understanding. All right, so lesson review. Hi, future accountant. Welcome to your journey to learning business laws and regulations. This course is designed to give you a broad knowledge of legal provisions governing business organizations like partnership, corporation, and cooperative. The Law on Partnership, the Revised Corporation Code of the Philippines, and the Philippine Cooperative Code of 2008 are presented in the first, second, and third periods respectively. So in this particular period, your modules 1 to 8 cover the Law on Partnership. And the Law on Partnership covers the following topics. First is the concept or nature of a partnership, the elements and kinds of partnership, formalities required, rules of management, distribution of profits, and sharing of losses and liabilities, modes of dissolution, and limited partnership. These and more you will learn in your first period. So please pause this video for a while and answer the what I know chart. Welcome back. Last time I've told you to video yourself while reciting Article 1767, which is the meaning of partnership. Verbatim, meaning to say word for word, when we say Law on Partnership, Article 1767 states that by the contract of partnership, 2 or more persons bind themselves to contribute money, property, or industry to a common fund with the intention of dividing the profits among themselves. And then the second paragraph goes like this: 2 or more persons may also form a partnership for the exercise of a profession. The meaning of partnership contains the requisites of a partnership, which we will discuss later in this module. However, you need to take note that to be able to form a partnership, there must be 2 or more persons who will bind themselves to contribute money, property, or industry. And at the end, they have the intention to divide the profits among themselves. All right. Why is it very important to determine whether the partnership is for profit or for exercise of profession? Because it is very important because taxation-wise, they are taxed differently. So let's continue on. What are the characteristics of a contract of partnership? Number 1, it is consensual, meaning it is perfected by mere consent. When 2 or more persons bind themselves and agreed to form a partnership, it need not be in writing. The consent of each other is enough for them to constitute or establish a partnership. That's why it is consensual in nature. Number 2, it is principal because it does not depend upon any other contract for its validity of existence. So meaning to say, to be valid, it's enough that the contract of partnership exists. It doesn't need any other contract to prove that the partnership exists. So again, it is a principal contract because of the very nature of the contract of partnership, that it does not depend in any other contract for its existence. Next, it is bilateral or multilateral. It is entered into by 2 or more persons whose rights and obligations are reciprocal. So meaning to say, each and every partners in the partnership has obligation to contribute either money, property, or industry. They need to contribute something. And at the end, it is bilateral or multilateral because they need to reciprocate the same. All right. Next is nominate. It has a special name given to it by law. Everybody can enter into a contract. However, not each and every contract has a name. So like for example, if you want to buy something from a seller, it is known to be contract of sale. It is nominate because the law named it as contract of sales. However, not each and every agreement has a name, making it an innominate contract. In the case of contract of partnership, it is known to be nominate because the law gives a name appropriately for contract of partnership. All right, next is preparatory. It is a means by which other contracts will be entered into as the partnership pursues its business. The partners agreed to form a partnership for the reason that they wanted to pursue something. It's either business or for the exercise of their profession. But regardless of the reason as to why they form a partnership, the contract of partnership is just a preparatory contract so that they may be able to enter into another contract, which can be a contract of service, a contract of sale, etc. So it is preparatory. Next is that it is onerous, meaning to say it is burdensome, it is not free, it is not gratuitous. So the partners must contribute money, property, or industry to a common fund for them to be able to enter a contract of partnership. Now, like I have said a while ago, the meaning of partnership has in it the requisites of partnership. So what are the essential requisites of partnership? Number one, there must be a valid contract. So in order for a partnership to exist, there must be a voluntary agreement among the parties. You just cannot force somebody to enter into a contract of partnership with you. In fact, its formation cannot be just imposed because it is fiduciary, based on fiduciary relationship. It operates under the doctrine of delectus personae or personarum in its plural form, where a person is free to choose those whom he wants to be associated with in partnership. There is a personal relationship between the partners. Personal relationship because it is based on mutual trust and confidence. You just do not go and enter into a contract of partnership with just anyone or anybody. You wanted to enter into a contract of partnership only with those persons whom you trust, right? And it is known to be the mutual trust and confidence. Now, in fact, if one of the partners back out or knock on wood died, then the partnership will be it will cause the dissolution of the partnership. Madi-dissolve na yung partnership. Yeah, so this and more are just a few causes of dissolution of partnership. So next is there must be a mutual contribution of money, property, or industry to a common fund. Well, the property that may be contributed can be a real property or a personal property. And when we say real property, example of which are land, building, etc. So when we say personal properties like cars, pwedeng appliances, pwedeng machineries, etc. So it could also be something tangible or intangible. Tangible meaning nahahawakan, intangible meaning like goodwill, it could be an incorporeal right, it could be a good reputation, etc. So industry may be physical manual efforts or intellectual industry. So when we say physical manual effort, this could be the people who are the partners who will be managing the business personally. Or when we say intellectual industry, ito yung mga partners na maalam talaga. They know something about the industry and they are very knowledgeable. So they will contribute that knowledge to the partnership so that the partnership will be successful. And that would be enough for them to be able to be considered as partners. However, please take note of this. The limited partner may contribute cash or other property but not services. There are different kinds of partners, and one of which is limited partner. And you need to take note that limited partner may contribute cash or other property. However, they cannot contribute services as limited partners. All right. We will discuss limited partner when we discuss the different kinds of partner. Next is it must have a lawful object or purpose. Partnership, being a contract, must have a lawful object. Please take note. I hope that you could still remember from your law on obligations and contracts. Once the object is unlawful, then the contract is void. Therefore, applying that concept or doctrine in this particular contract of partnership, when the object of the contract of partnership is illegal, then the contract of partnership is void, as if there is no partnership. The partnership is inexistent. All right. If a partnership has an unlawful object, again, it is void. If such illegality constitutes a crime, the partners will be criminally prosecuted and the profits and effects and instruments of the crime will be confiscated in favor of the government. Next, the partnership must be established for the common benefit or interest of the partners, which is to obtain profits and to divide the profits among the partners. So at the end of the day, a contract of partnership, even if for the practice of profession, these are all profits. They wanted to earn profits. And this profit must be distributed among the partners. Ayan. So the very purpose of a partnership business is, of course, practically speaking, is to obtain profit. And if the partnership is formed for the practice of profession, though the primary purpose is not to obtain profits, but to render service to the public, at the end of the day, if there's any profit that was obtained by the partnership, then this must be distributed among the partners. Okay, bigyan ko na kayo ng konting taxation side. Yung partnership, if it is for the practice of profession, it is not taxable. Again, a contract of partnership for the practice of profession, the partnership itself is not taxable. However, if the profit of the partnership has been distributed among its partners, then that particular profit that was distributed to the partners will be taxable as their income individually. So it will form part of their individual taxable income, and at the end, it will be taxable as an individual income. It will be subjected to the schedule given by the Bureau of Internal Revenue. So going back to the partnership, because that's actually our topic. What are the form of a partnership contract? Paano ba? Ano bang kailangan? Kailangan ba nakasulat? Pwede ba salitaan? So let's talk about it. A partnership contract may be constituted in any form. It could be oral or written. Ayan. It could be oral or written pala. So once na nag-usap kayo at napagkasunduan nyo na gagawa kayo ng partnership, orally nyo lang pinag-usapan, then it is a valid contract. It could also be written if you wanted it to be written. However, even if you wanted to just bind yourselves to a contract of partnership orally, you cannot do so because there is an exception to this general rule. Number one, where immovable property or real rights are contributed to the partnership, so regardless of the amount thereof, the partnership contract must be in public instrument, meaning it must be in writing and it must be in public instrument. When we say public instrument, you have to notarize the same. Dapat ipanotaryo nyo na. Okay? So again, kapag may immovable property or real rights, ano ba immovable property? Halimbawa, may isang partner, ang ikinontribute niya ay land. Then, yung partnership contract, it must be in writing na. Okay? And it must be notarized. Ano pa? Kung sobrang dami yung na-contribute na mga immovable property, there must be an inventory of the said property, and then it must be signed by the parties and then attached to that particular public instrument. So again, regardless of the amount of the property, once it is an immovable property or real rights, it must be in writing and it must be notarized, meaning to say it must be in public instrument. So I hope that you get that. Next is that, what is the effect if the above requirements are not complied with? Paano kung hindi nila naisulat? Paano pag hindi nila napanotaryo? Ano nga ba yung magiging consequence? So sabi rito, the partnership contract is void. As if there is no partnership. The partnership is inexistent. So it's very important for you to know that whenever there is an immovable property that has been contributed to the partnership, it must be in writing because otherwise the partnership is inexistent or void. Next, the partnership will not have any juridical personality. What do you mean by juridical personality? When we say juridical personality, the partnership will now become an artificial being. It can buy its own, it can own its own properties. Kung halimbawa yung land, pwedeng ipangalan sa mismong partnership. Ayan. What else? It can sue and be sued. Pwede na siyang magdemanda, pwede na siyang idemanda. So that is when we say that a partnership has a juridical personality, when it has become an artificial being. However, if there is an immovable property that has been contributed to the partnership and they failed to put it in writing and they failed to put it in public instrument, then the partnership contract is void. And one of the consequences of that is that the partnership will not have a juridical personality. Okay, so malaking impact niyan kapag hindi naka-obtain ng juridical personality ang partnership. Maraming rights ang mawawala sa kanya. So let's move on to number 2. Where the capital of the partnership is 3,000 or more in money or property, it must be in public instrument once again, and it must be registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission. Now, we're not talking about immovable properties here. We're talking about the capital of partnership exceeding 3,000 pesos. All right? So, what is the effect if the above requirement are not complied with? Yung 3,000 pesos, hindi raw na i-public instrument at hindi na i-register sa SEC. Kasi nga, 3,000 lang ang layo ng SEC. Diba? So pupunta ka pa ng Tarlac. Pag pumunta ka ng Tarlac, gagastos ka pa. 3,000 nga lang yung kaya nyo. So ano nga ba ang mangyayari? So if the above requirements are not complied with, the partnership contract is still valid. So unlike the immovable property that was contributed and was failed to put in a public instrument, this time around, pag yung 3,000, hindi pa ganun masyado laki ang impact nung consequence, no? Ang mangyayari lang, sabi dito, still valid pa rin siya, okay? And the partnership still acquires juridical personality. Ayan. Now, the liability of the partnership and the members thereof to third persons are not affected.